Hey everybody, and welcome back to Investing with Wesley. In today's episode, I want to get into the details of options pricing, and today we're going to talk about the Greeks, which if you remember from my last episode, there's two things that affect an options price. There's intrinsic and extrinsic value. The Greeks solely affect the extrinsic value of options contracts. That's why they're extremely important to understand and why it's so important to know how they'll actually affect the price, helping you win or lose money. Let's get into it. So when it comes to talking about the Greeks, people usually only mention the big four, but there's actually 5 Greeks, and today I'm going to talk to you about all of them. The 5 Greeks are delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho. Those are the 5 Greeks that every option contract will tell you. The 2 Greeks that directly affect the price of your options are the delta and the gamma. But by far, the delta is the top dog of the Greeks. The delta determines how much the premium of your option would change if the underlying asset went up or down by $1. So as an example, if you saw that the delta of an option contract was 0.40, you would expect that if the underlying asset went up $1, then the price of your options contract would go up 0.40. Some options traders will also use the delta as an estimation with how much likelihood it'll be that that option will expire in the money. So in the same example, if you saw a delta with a 0.40, then the traders that use it in that way will say there's a 40% chance that that option will expire in the money. Now, it's also important to know that the delta isn't a fixed or flat increase or decrease, meaning the delta rate will actually change as the option's premium and value goes up and down. It's for this very reason that I don't think there's much weight in trying to use it as a prediction of if it's going to expire in the money or not. Because option prices are changed by a number of different factors, as well as the delta changes while the stock price and the option price changes. In my opinion, there's just way too much variables to try and accurately predict or estimate the likelihood of this option contract expiring in the money. Now, the next Greek is the gamma, and this is delta's right-hand man because gamma tracks the change of delta. Now, already this is where the Greeks can get kind of confusing. Because the gamma is 0.05, when the value of the underlying asset goes up by another dollar, the second time it goes up by $1, you don't just add the delta, but you add the delta and gamma together, and that's what the new addition will be to the premium price of your option. So the best way I can give you an example is if your delta was 0.40 or 40 cents and the underlying asset went up $1. It went up for the first time $1. 40 cents would be added to the premium of whatever option you're holding. But if the underlying asset went up a second dollar, then 45 cents would be added to the premium of your option contract. Meaning if the underlying asset of your share price goes up by $2, the premium price of your option contract went up by 0.85. And this is because it goes up initially the 0.40 of delta, and then the second time it goes up another dollar, it goes up the delta plus the gamma. Now you might be thinking to yourself that a $2 increase in the share price sounds a lot better than just an option contract going up by 85 cents. But you have to remember, option contracts leverage 100 shares per contract. So it's not 85 cents that you've won, it's $85. So that gives you a good example on how drastically the delta and gamma can affect the overall premium price of this option. Because the actual value or intrinsic value and the share price of the underlying asset only went up by $2. But because of that $2 increase, you profited $85 off of it. The next Greek I want to talk to you about is the theta. And theta is the time decay of this option. Because all option contracts expire worthless, the theta gives you the expected rate in which the value of your option will decrease every day as it gets closer to that expiration. So as an example, if a theta is negative 0.04, then you can expect the premium of your option to get 0.04 less valuable every single day until it inevitably expires worthless. Now, if you're a buyer of an option, theta works against you. But if you're selling an option contract using other strategies, then theta actually works for you. Because in this particular instance, you'll be selling an option and there's time decay involved. When you sell an option, if it expires worthless, you get to keep the premium that the buyer on the other half of that deal gave to you. But like I said, if you're the buyer and it expires worthless, you lose all that premium you initially paid for the option. So if you're a buyer, Theta works against you. If you're a seller, Theta works for you. The next is Vega, and Vega rules over the implied volatility of the underlying asset. Vega estimates how much premium will change in the event that the implied volatility goes up or down by 1%. So if Vega was 0.03 and the implied volatility goes up by 1%, then the premium price of your option will also go up by 0.03. And typically the longer it is till the expiration date, the greater the Vega will be. Because like I explained to you in my previous episode, if you have an extremely long time horizon until this option expires, there's a greater likelihood that this option will hit a profitable price. So the greater volatility there is, the greater chances of profitability. This is what Vega ultimately rules over. And lastly, the one Greek that no one really talks about is rho. And this is because rho rules over interest rates. And rho will identify how much the premium will change if the interest rates rise or fall. And by interest rates, I usually mean the federal funds rate or whatever interest rate is connected to these options. It could be LIBOR, it could be SOFR, it could be the federal funds rate, it could be a number of things. Typically, when it comes to option contracts, rho is the smallest number. And this is because interest rates don't change that often, and if they do, it's not by a significant amount. So no one really pays any attention to rho when it comes to pricing out their options because it's such an insignificant and hardly ever changes. But I also want to warn you that if you've watched any of my previous episodes, I'm always talking about the SOFR rate being directly connected to the United States Treasury's repo rate, and eventually that'll implode upon itself, setting off a derivatives meltdown. Options are another form of derivative. So in the next upcoming months, I would expect us to pay more and more attention to rhos, especially trying to see if there's any correlation between rho increases in generic option prices versus SOFR rate increasing over time. I actually found a segment of a video that TD Ameritrade did explaining the Greeks extremely useful. In this segment, it's going to explain to you how each of these Greeks will ultimately affect the premium price of this option contract. That way you can get a visual example of exactly what it is these Greeks do. So let's play it now.
Let's say your options premium is $1.30 and your option has a delta of 0.35, a gamma of 0.06, theta of 0.02, and vega of 0.07. Today, price moves from $45 to $46, and the premium increases 35 cents to a $1.65. Because a day has passed, the premium decreases 2 cents due to theta. Tomorrow, price moves from $46 to $47. The premium increases 41 cents to $2.04. This is delta plus gamma. Also, another day gone by means another day of time decay and another 2 cents down the drain. Implied volatility rises 1 percentage point, increasing the premium by 7 cents to $2.09. Putting all these factors together shows how a relatively small change in the underlying can lead to a pretty significant change in the options premium.
I just want to say thanks again to TD Ameritrade for making that video whenever they did, because it's extremely entertaining and informative. I hope you got value from this video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps this channel get out there. I have a dedicated Facebook and Instagram account. I don't post there too often, but if you ever had a question, comment, or just wanted something addressed, that'd be the perfect place to reach out. It's a lot easier and more organized to just message me directly than it is to tag everyone here in the comment feeds. Either way though, the choice is yours, and I'll see you in the next episode.